The New York Knicks have just received a huge update on one of their premier free agent targets as Leon Rose and the Knicks continue to scour the free agent market to find the right fit for this team. With only one contract open and amidst a ton of rumors about Ben Simmons, there has been other names on the Knicks' radar as well who have been looked into so the Knicks can ensure that they get this move right. And we are going to break all that down. But before we jump into that, guys, if you're part of that 58% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Knicks updates. We got a lot of videos coming at you guys right now that you do not want to miss out on, so make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss any Knicks news or updates that we will have at instantly once they're reported on. But, guys, there's a lot to go over because right now there's a lot of noise about Ben Simmons, and there has been a lot of noise about Ben Simmons to the Knicks for a long time now. For around a month, we've seen the Ben Simmons rumors where the Knicks, they want Ben Simmons. They're the front runners for Ben Simmons, and that's great. However, it's not the only guy who the Knicks are looking at right now. They're looking at multiple different players on multiple different free agent levels and multiple different positions as well. The Knicks are being very diligent with this because considering the fact that they only do have one contract available for a veteran's minimum deal, unless they trade Tyler Kolek, basically they're in a position where they can't mess this up. They have to be right about the guy who they sign. And the reason that Simmons has popped up so much is because the Knicks desperately do want another great playmaker next to Jalen Brunson. Now, the Knicks signed Jordan Clarkson in free agency, and I think Jordan Clarkson is going to give a lot of pressure or take a lot of pressure off of Jalen Brunson because he can be a lead ball handler a lot of the time, but he's not going to change the world with his ability to pass the ball. And when you consider something like that, it does make a lot of sense why there would be some interest in Ben Simmons because Simmons, he's an elite passer and he can also play those big man positions. And the Knicks, they would not mind adding another big man into the fold on this team. It's one of the reasons why I'm very sure they are going to bring in James Najee on a two-way contract. However, they would like more of a veteran guy as well, considering their backup big man, assuming Mitchell Robinson starts at center, means their two backup bigs are Gershon Yabusele, who, despite the fact that he is a veteran, he's only ever played 3 years in the NBA, and then Ariel Hukporti, who's 1 year into his NBA career and already has gone down with a torn meniscus, so there is some concern there. Najee has never played in the NBA, so that's going to lead to some other interesting situations as well. And yes, Moses Brown is an option. I am going to talk about Moses Brown. I'm aware. I talked about Moses Brown so much over the season, but there is going to be a Moses Brown video coming out. We're working on that right now. There's someone else involved in that video as well. I think you guys are going to like that one. But when it comes to Leon Rose, he's had interest in a lot of different guys, and one of the guys who's come up a lot is Russell Westbrook. Since free agency started on June 30th, the Knicks were linked to Westbrook. Around 3 p.m. on June 30th, the Knicks, it looked like they were going to offer Westbrook a deal and like he was going to accept, but then Jordan Clarkson got bought out of nowhere. The Knicks turned their sights towards Clarkson, someone they've had interest in for the last 2 years, and they were able to bring Clarkson on, and then they focused more on that mid-level exception, giving that to a forward who can play the 4 or the 5. There was talk about Larry Nance Jr. I heard from an inside source that Larry Nance Jr. was going to be the guy they had a lot of interest in, but again, their sights got turned towards Gershon Yabusele, who, honestly, I like better than Larry Nance, so I was happy with the move. Now, the Knicks, all this time later, Russell Westbrook is still available for their taking, but now we have a huge update regarding Russ and his whole free agency situation. As Tim McMahon, not Tom McMahon, said that it appears that Westbrook, who spent the first 11 years of his career with the Oklahoma City Thunder, will play for his 6th franchise in 7 seasons. He won't be returning to the Denver Nuggets after a roller coaster season in which Westbrook finished 7th in 6th Man of the Year voting. The all-time leader in triple-doubles won't continue the trend of storybook homecomings for future Hall of Fame point guards a la Damian Lillard and Chris Paul. The Thunder will hang Westbrook's number 0 in the rafters after he retires, but the defending champions don't have room on the roster, much less the rotation or the desire to tinker with team chemistry from their title run. And on top of that, we also heard from McMahon that league sources consider the Sacramento Kings as the most likely destination for Westbrook, who will turn 37 during the first month of the season. If that's the case, Westbrook would likely come off the bench again and share ball handling duties with free agent addition Dennis Schroeder. Now, Westbrook last season put up 13 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. He got a steal and a half and was an excellent defender, one of the best defending point guards in the league last year. He also shot 44% on corner threes. Now, the regular three-point shooting was at 32%, which is around what you'd expect from Russ. Maybe sometimes a little bit better, maybe sometimes a little bit worse. He is a little inconsistent, and by little inconsistent, I mean he is inconsistent. But he shot 45% from the field as well. He put up solid numbers, and now it's expected that he would go behind Dennis Schroeder, who put up 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, and is now with the Sacramento Kings on a 3-year, $45 million contract. Something I don't expect him to finish with the Kings, but he's definitely going to start it there. And he shot 40% from the field, 34% from 3. I imagine a contending team that's not the Kings, once the Kings learn that this thing is not going to work that they have going for them, will move Schroeder and would likely move Westbrook as well if they are to sign him. Westbrook would be on a minimum deal, so they would be able to net a second-round pick or two in some sort of trade for a team that feels like they're a Westbrook away from winning the NBA Finals. Now, here's the thing. Westbrook, it goes farther than his playing ability because he's also known as one of the best teammates in NBA history. And on top of that, he's just a great veteran to have around your team. The man knows how to win. He understands what life is like in the NBA. He'd be a great voice for young players. And also, he's a hard-nosed guy. The Knicks could use one of those hard-nosed bulldog guys who's not afraid of the smoke at all. I think it would really help the team's mentality to have one of those guys who's like, gonna be like, and I'm not saying the Knicks treat the game this way. I don't think they do. But he's like, no, losing is not an option. It's not okay. And the Knicks don't do that. Jalen Brunson does not allow that. You could see it all over him. I mean, whenever you watch the Roommates podcast soon after the Knicks got eliminated, if they mentioned it at all, you could literally feel the tenseness that Jalen Brunson has. Josh Hart doesn't. He's very good at the compartmentalization of basketball. We all know Josh Hart wants to win. No one plays like that when you're not a super competitive person. But Josh Hart compartmentalizes the hell out of it and is very good at it, which is a skill that's good to have. But Jalen Brunson, you could tell he just sits there and seethes about it. Like, they were talking about the NBA Finals, and like Josh Hart and Matt Hellman, they were talking, and Jalen Brunson was just sitting there like, yep, yeah, we should have been there. Just like clearly upset still. So I think they already have them. They could use a guy who's like willing to start fights and start that smoke. I think it would just be good for the Knicks to have. And Russ, a beloved guy, is going to die for his team. He plays for the name on the front of his jersey, not on the back of his jersey. The fact that people think Westbrook is selfish is some of the craziest basketball propaganda I've ever seen. Russ put up 12 points and 4 rebounds with 2.5 assists in his 13 playoff games in 2025. He didn't shoot too well from the field, but his defense was absolutely excellent. He had a lot of great moments. I mean, against the Clippers, he had a 16-point game with 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals, shooting 58% from the field in Game 7, helping the Denver Nuggets get over the Los Angeles Clippers. He also, against the Clippers in a completely different game, in 25 minutes, had 21 points, went 8 for 15 from the field, which is 53% from the field, and it was all off the bench, and Westbrook still showed that he can be that guy and that he is a very valuable player, especially in the playoffs. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons put up 1.5 rebounds, 1 point, and 1 assist in the 5 playoff games against the Nuggets. So I don't really know if you want to go add Ben Simmons, who gets played off the court when Russ, frankly, does not, despite the fact that there is worries about his shooting. Now, that being said, Simmons is a better defender and guards every position. He put up 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5.5 assists between the Nets and the Clippers, shot 52% from the field, and had a defensive box plus minus of 1.8, which is very good, showing that he still is an elite defender at the NBA level. Meanwhile, there's also Malcolm Brogdon, who's another guy to look at, because Brogdon, despite the fact they didn't shoot too well last year, has been a very consistent player throughout his NBA career. He put up 13 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. The man is a solid enough defender. He's not going to change the world with his defense, but he's a solid enough defender. I do think his shooting would bounce back on a team like the Knicks, where he's not really having to have as big of a role as he did. He also can play on or off the ball, but he does give the Knicks another true point guard, and also is a good veteran to have around. He's had a lot of success in the playoffs despite not having a championship. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon averaged 12 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 3 assists the last time he was in the playoffs. He shot 38% from 3, so there's a lot to like there. I do think Brogdon's an intriguing option as well, but it sounds like Russell Westbrook will not be going to the Knicks after all. What do you guys think about this? Do you want them, if they're not going to be able to sign Russ, who do you want to see them sign? If it's point guard, or is it not a point guard at all? I wanted Amir Coffey, but he's gone. He's on the Bucks, so we'll see what happens, guys. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.